Hello. Coming back at you today with another video that I think is really interesting because a lot of people have been talking about sampling and I want to come at it from a different perspective. I'm actually an attorney, but by no means is any of this conversation have to do with me talking as an attorney in the sense of giving you legal advice. This is not legal advice. This is just me talking about what I think may happen and why I think you should care about what may happen. So there's been a lot of talk about samples lately and how if a producer is going to use a sample in their work, they shouldn't worry about clearing it because ultimately, once the artist, buys that beat or decides to use your beat and the record label company is involved, they will have a pool of money that they often have dedicated to clear samples and work on that process. So you as a producer shouldn't do that. Plus you don't really know, let's say a rapper buys the beat, you don't know what they're going to say. So even if you had cleared the sample beforehand, the work is changing. So inevitably you need to get clearance again. And I absolutely agree with that because, there's no harm in that. You're creating your songs, you're creating your beats, and you're shopping them around, and you don't really know who's going to want to pick one of your beats, which one they're going to pick, and once they ultimately pick that beat and there's a sample in there, it'll be dealt with at that time, so the producers shouldn't really make that a concern of theirs. So the issue comes into play with all the producers who are leasing beats online and sampling. If you are sampling somebody else's work within your beat that you're leasing online, you are guilty of copyright infringement because somebody else owns copyright to that sample that you've included in this new work that you've created with it. Yes, it may be a percentage, correct? Okay, you've added a lot of newness to the work, but still there's a percentage of the other person's work in there, and that's copyright infringement. And the concern comes when you are leasing these beats and you are making money off of these beats that contain somebody else's work in there. It's an issue. And I know a lot of people talk about, the sample police, no one's coming after me, no one's gonna find out. But there's a lot of publicity, right now in the internet producer world. You've got people like Taz Taylor all over the news, Cash Money AP, BeatStars, articles everywhere about this new economy. I mean, it's not that new, but there's a lot of revenue that is being pumped in and coming through now. And with money comes somebody who wants to get a piece of theirs. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to say this right now because I think things are really going to change in the next few years. You're actually going to see companies that their role is to police and find beats that have samples of somebody else's music in there, and they will come after you and they will make sure that they get the money that is due to the person whose copyright has been infringed, specifically in the whole beat making world here, because it's just growing. I mean, the industry is just growing and growing. There's a lot of money there, a lot of money, and people want to get what's there. So my concern is this: if you are leasing beats and you have samples in them, you may find somebody who does ultimately come knocking at your door telling you that you owe them a certain amount of money. I won't go into too many specifics, but let's say they're able to get the sales amount for a specific beat that you have used their sample in, and you've made $10,000 off that beat, and it's in your beat catalog of 200 beats, and they take you to court, and it's determined that you need to pay them 50%. Okay, so that's $5,000 right there. You're paying them, but then maybe there's damages, right? The judge can determine that not only have you've infringed their copyright by using the sample in your work and selling it without their permission, so you owe them their percentage, their portion of those proceeds, but also damages. Like, you did this, you knew you were using somebody else's sample and you willfully did this, so there can be damages on top of it. And you may be saying, hey, there's this thing called fair use, right? It was fair use. That argument does not hold up. It is a really bad argument. Generally, it hardly ever holds up in court. By copyright infringement with a sample, you are taking somebody else's recording and their composition and you are putting it into your work. Just want to put this out here. I want to put it out here because I think that there needs to be a certain amount of fear that continues to exist Sampling is becoming more and more popular, and I hear it a lot in leased beats, but I think you need to watch yourself. I think that you need to realize, comprehend the possible financial pain that can follow using a sample without having cleared it in beats that you are leasing and you are making money off of. It's a real danger. Just think about it. And I know Curtis King, he's talked about it a bit too, saying, look, you know, you've got to realize that there's still a danger there, and it's not necessarily worth it to even sample because you want to keep what's yours, right? If you've made this song, like, just use royalty-free samples even. There's Soul Surplus. There's other libraries that you can draw from that you can use. And I know that they can get expensive, right, for good quality samples, but it's a royalty-free sample, right? You pay that money one time to get the sample pack, and you know that's it. You know nobody else is coming after you. Splice is a great alternative too. It's really affordable. I know you're probably going to say that the quality of the samples is not as good, but my point is there are other markets to get samples from. I'd rather, you know, pay that 30, 40, 50 bucks right now to get a sample I'm going to chop up, manipulate, I'm going to put into my new beat, then find out, you know, just like 4 years from now, I owe $30,000 to various copyright holders who I've infringed because my beat library of however many songs contains, you know, all these different songs where there's been infringement. I think that the fear should be real because the danger is real. And as an attorney, I'm going to tell you, like, this is the kind of bad stuff that happens to people, and it tears apart their business because, you know, maybe you're making 100,000 beats a year, $100,000 for making beats per year. And I don't know if you're pissing your money away. I don't know how much money you're saving, but my thought is you're probably spending it on your living expenses and all kinds of other stuff, and you're not saving it, right? So if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you owe me 40,000 bucks 5 years from now, you might not have that in your bank account. You might have already spent it, in which case you're going to be in a bad place, and that's really going to suck for you and potentially your family, or if you have others relying on you and your income at that point in time. So please, please, please take this video into consideration. And I hope, like, this is one of those things that, like, you know, like several years from now, if somebody comes across on YouTube and they're like, oh my God, like, I wish I would have thought about what she was saying back then, because now it's like screwed me over because I used all these samples. Like, yeah, just don't do it. I mean, and if you're gonna do it, like I said, know that those beats are beats that you're gonna be shopping around for placement. They're not beats that you're going to be leasing in your beat store. So you can make that distinction because sampling is fun, right? There's different kinds of songs that we hear and they resonate with us and we wanna take a piece of that and create a new work out of it. Well, keep those as your beats that you're looking for placements with and not as your beats that you're that you're leasing in your store. Because I want to make that clear too. It just because you're leasing it versus selling it, that doesn't differentiate between the fact that you are definitely infringing somebody else's copyright in both, the composition and the song, and yeah. Not good. Not good. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you learned something from it. Leave a comment below. Are you sampling more than you used to? And I mean, is this video sort of making you rethink that strategy? I'm just curious. Subscribe to my videos, another video coming out soon, and hit the little bell so then you get the notification when a new one comes out, and I'll talk to you soon.